Over the years, I've become fascinated by a simple question. Can housing be built differently? Something more affordable, less destructive, and maybe a little closer to nature. This cabin became my way of exploring that question. And like most buildings, it didn't look like much at first. I've also never built a house before, so I was learning as I went. First came the foundation. And then came the timber frame. My arborist friend had more softwood logs than he knew what to do with. Most of them would have simply sat in a pile and eventually rotted away. Instead, they became the structure for this cabin. So I finished the rafters for the roof just before winter hit. The following spring I completed all the waterproofing and drainage details. My electrician friend also helped me run power to the building. At that point, I had a roof overhead and electricity, which was enough to convince me I could actually spend the summer living here. I may have been a little optimistic though. I needed to find some flooring before I could move all my stuff in. Luckily, I found all this wood being thrown out at a nearby construction site. The kitchen cabinets came from someone who simply wanted them gone, and this is what my place looked like the first week I moved in. Which wasn't much at first. I was sleeping in a tent inside the cabin, which was fun for about a week. After that, it started feeling pretty cramped. So it was time to make a few upgrades. I built a small sleeping loft overhead and added a sliding screen door to get rid of the tarp covering the front entrance. I also covered the entire building in screen mesh to keep out the bugs. To finish off the interior, my arborist friend donated 2 oak slabs that became my kitchen countertop. Lastly, I did some landscaping around the front by adding a flagstone patio and some wall stone to cover up my wood stove. And this is where I really started to fall in love with this cabin. The building itself is only about 160 square feet, but it never felt small inside. Without walls, the space seemed to extend outward into the surrounding landscape. Inside and outside began to feel like the same place. It created a strange paradox for me. Buildings are designed to protect us from nature, but they also separate us from it, especially the more time we spend inside of them. Instead of observing nature from inside a building, I felt like I was living alongside it. The cabin wasn't isolating me from the landscape, it was simply giving me a place to exist within it. Living like this also inspired me to keep looking for new ways to work with nature. And since I didn't have any hot water in the building yet, one of those experiments was my hot water system. I built a compost water heater, basically 300 feet of pipe buried inside a large pile of fresh wood chips. As microbes break down the wood chips, they generate heat. And amazingly, that heat provided all of my hot water throughout the summer. My next video will show exactly how that system functions.
Our water is 76 degrees. That's incredible.
That summer, I was also more fit than I'd been in years. There was always another project to work on, another improvement to make, and another excuse to spend the day outside. Out here, nature reminds you how small we are, and how quickly things can change. Like the weather. So how did I stay dry in a cabin with no walls? The key was the design. The roof has 3-foot overhangs that prevent most rain from reaching the interior. My friend and I also built a stone ledge around the foundation to prevent water from splashing inward.
Copy.
But the real secret ended up being these exterior blinds. I originally installed them for shade, but they turned out to be incredibly effective at blocking wind-driven rain. Even during heavy storms, the cabin stayed remarkably dry. Living in a cabin with no walls changed the way I think about design. Since the cabin wasn't finished yet, I wasn't forced to make every design decision up front. And I had no idea where I wanted the windows to go. But by living here every day, the building started teaching me. I could see exactly where the morning light entered, which areas stayed coolest during the summer, where breezes naturally flowed through the structure, and unfortunately, where the neighbor's lawnmower seemed to be every other afternoon. Instead of designing everything on paper, I was discovering the design by simply living there. For one summer, this place existed in a kind of in-between stage. Not quite a house, but much more than a shelter. Living here completely changed the way I think about building and design. The cabin offered just enough protection for the summer. A roof for rain, mesh for bugs, while still allowing the outside world to remain present. But of course, this is Canada, and winter was coming. So if I wanted to keep living here, it was finally time to build the walls. And everything I learned that summer was about to shape what came next.